Yeah, that's fine. Okay, now the class is being recorded. So what was I saying? So var, you can always redeclare it, but let and const, you can't redeclare it. Okay, I was saying that both let and const, they have a block scoping. If you define them inside a block, it will not they will not be accessible. They will not be available in the global space. That means if you give it a functional or less or a block scope, they will not be available in the global scope. But var, you always find them in global scoping. So today, okay, I'm not sharing my screen. I would like to share my screen. I'm going to share the slide after the class. Okay, can you all see my screen?
No. No.
Okay, it's coming up now. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
All right. Okay, thank you. So today we'll be talking about okay, this is what I have for you. We'll be continuing on what you have learned in in previous class. So we'll be talking about loop and we're talking about loop, type of loop, nested loop. Okay, they haven't write something nested loop. No. Okay, we'll talk about ternary operator and nested ternary operator. We talk about anonymous function. We talk about arrow function, hosting, and temporary dead zone. I learned you have not been taught hosting. Okay, let's just let's follow the class the order that is being written. Last class, I believe you all taught function. So now there are what do we mean by loops? Just be talking about loops. What do we make? What does loop does for us? Now, if you are told to write 1 to 10, normally as a human being, you have to start writing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. But in computer or in the JavaScript language, we hate repeating ourselves. Something that you can just write a line of code, then you keep repeating yourself. For example, now I don't need to stretch myself. If I want to print out 1 to 1 million, even 1 to 1 million, I don't need to print out myself. I don't need to repeat myself or stress myself. But if I'm told to write 1 to 1 million, definitely as a human being, I'll be tired or it will take me a lot of time. If money is involved, definitely I'm going to finish it, but it's going to take me a lot of time. So that's why loops come in. Loops are used to run the same code over and over again, over and over again. I think the best thing to use is for me to use my VS Code. I have a folder here. I have a Web3 ladies folder. I'll right click. Can you see my screen? I doubt it.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I'll open this Web3 folder. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry,
Yes, I
my system
can.
is a bit slow. Okay, thank you. Um, so I'll be opening this with this. Now I'll minimize. I don't think you can see my VS Code. I'll have to reshare. But let me just um okay. Um Okay, I guess you can all see my both my VS Code and my browser, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now I will so this is what we talked about input somehow long time ago. Now we'll be writing okay, I believe you have been taught we'll be writing JavaScript. So I'll create a JavaScript file. I'll need to increase my brightness of this thing. I'll create a JavaScript file, then I will link it. There are two ways, there are two places you can link your like now this is my HTML file and this is my Java, CSS. So I want to create a JavaScript folder instead of file. I'm creating a folder called JS file, JS. I'm not creating a file. I want to create a folder. So I can delete this. And I'm not creating inside CSS. I'm creating it in the global space here. So I'll just come here. I don't know why. Why am I? Sorry. I don't know why I'm creating JS. Okay, it's still JS file. Okay, I'm just going to move it out. So now I'm having my JS file here. Is everyone on their system? Are you on your system? Okay,
Yes,
I'll
I
just
am.
advise people will be on their system. So now I've created a JavaScript file folder here. So I want to create a file inside this. I'll just say index.js.
What's your
So now,
screen? Stop sharing your screen.
ah,
You've stopped sharing your screen.
oh, okay, it's coming up now. So now I have this index.js file which I would like to link to my. So now I can go to my HTML now, index.html. Then I can open with live server. I can also use live server again so that I won't have time. Open with live. How am I stopping? Okay, I'll open with live server. So this is what we have. This is so bad. It's even affecting my eye. So I'll just try and delete all these inputs we are having here. All this, I'll just delete it like this. Then I can say our H3, we can say a form, JavaScript JS class. So I can save this. So we have something like this. I would even like to, okay, it's not necessary. We don't really need our styles. We don't need we don't even need our index.html again. Because but okay, we will need it because I need to link my HTML to my CSS. So there are two ways of linking. I think you have been taught. Is either you put it on the head, you put it on the head. So now, and okay, if you are putting it on the edge, you can use something this snippet like this. So this is what we have. You're just going to put the source. I'm just going to JS file. Okay, because this is my HTML, I can say I'm moving out of this. I'm going to JS file, then my index.html. So I've linked my JavaScript to my. This is one way of doing it. Another way is for you to put it here. So okay, this is one way of doing it. But if you are putting it here, you need to put something called defer. This defer means that when this thing is compiling, it should leave, it should not compile, it should make sure it load your HTML first before it loads your CM, before it loads your JavaScript. So if you are not good, if you don't want to put defer, you can take it here and go to your body and put it at the end. So you don't need defer again. So because if I over on this, you see the meaning of defer. The Boolean attribute is set to indicate to a browser that the script is meant to be executed after the document has been passed. So it is when your document, the body, what is your body has been passed, has successfully loaded. That is when you should load this script. But if I put it on the head, so I don't need if I put it here, I don't need defer. If I put it on the head, I will put a defer. So this is how I have my script tag here. So how do I know my script is working? Because this is just something that you should always try and test. It can solve you or try and save you some stress. So now if I go here and say console.log, hello, welcome. today's class. Now, if I do this and I open my console now, I believe everyone can open their console successfully. We don't really need our UI. So what we really need is our console. So this is our console. I'll maximize it. Is there anyone that cannot see my console before we move forward? So you can see now it has printed this to my console. Hello, welcome to GS class. So this shows that our HTML, our JavaScript is properly linked to our HTML. So that's all what we need. So I can just close this. I don't need it again. So now let's go to where we have. So I was saying that loop. I was talking about loop. Okay, I can also I can move this here a bit. I can close this. Yeah. Is there anyone that can see my JavaScript, my VS code? And I'll be doing word wrap. If you go here now, if you come here and you select view, then you can always have, okay, it's not here. Okay, if you come to, is it here? Well, where do you have word wrap? Sorry, I didn't memorize the shortcut, but I don't think it should have be difficult. Shouldn't be here. Okay, I'll get it later. I don't know why. Shouldn't be that difficult. Okay, I'll get to it later. Don't let that waste our time. So I just wanted to wrap, but I can easily extend this. Oh, why? It's not that difficult. I don't know why. Edit. Sorry. Okay, I can always go back. I don't need this. So now this, so we have this. Now we're talking about loop. Loop are used to run the same code over and over again. For example, now I want to enter 1 to 10. I said example writing 1 to 10 in console. So this is one way of writing the console.log 1. Then I can do this. Then I can start changing it to 3, 4. Let's make it 5 to save our time. So now if I save this now and I go back here, you can see now everything has been shown on in the console. You can see that this is a tedious process. If I'm to write 1 to 1 million, what's going to happen? So I'll have to start typing everyone since then. Why is it now a programming language? It's meant to ease our task. So that means that we have to find a way to repeat this process without us interfering in it. So that take us to loop. That will take us to loop. Now, so we have different type of loop. We have a for loop, we have for in, for off, while, and do while. Those are the 5 types of loop that we have. For the sake of this class, I'll also go to W3 School so that you can always make reference of this if you don't understand anything also. Now, just like I said there, they are used to execute a block of code number of times. So now you can see now this is an example. Now, how do we now write the for loop? The first one we are going to talk about is the for loop. No, for you to write a for loop, this is the syntax. If I write for here, you can see now there's suggestion, there's a for loop here. There's suggestion here, for loop. If I click on it, you can see now this thing has suggested. I don't think I need this. That suggested how I'm going to write it. But so this is how to write for loop. But I'm going to clear this and write my own so I can explain. No, so this is how you write our for. Then you are going to where we are going to execute it is this block. So this is how our for loop is. The for loop is what the for it takes 3 conditions. The first condition is where is it going to start for? The first is executed before the execution of the code block.
I can't hear you.
Then the last option, the last thing is we stop. Hello, that went offline.
Yeah, you went off for a while.
Wow, so I went offline. Wow. So can you see my screen now? Where, what do you miss? Is there any place you miss?
You were describing how to put the argument or the parameters for the for loop.
Okay, thank you. Now I'm trying to do this pseudo code. Like now, I want to write 1 to 10. This is what I want to write now. Now, how do I write 1 to 10? The logic is that I'm going to start from zero. Okay, I want to start from, okay, let me say 0 to 10. I'm starting from zero. That's the first thing. Then if I start from zero, I'll move to one. That means I'm increasing it by one. That's the second logic. The third one is that I will stop when it is what? When it is 10. These are the three conditions for me to write 1 to 10. Is there any other one that you think is supposed to be here that I've not written? I don't think so. For to write 1 to 10. So now this we have, it's going to take three, but it's not the three that is very important. But you need to put the last one, and you need to put the second one also. You may not put the first one, but if you didn't put the last one, for example, if I said, okay, start from zero, increase by one, who can tell me where it's going to stop? If I said start from zero, increase by one, where is it? Where is the code going to stop?
Infinity. It will not stop it.
Infinity. Yes, it will keep adding, 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 adding till your system RAM is exhausted. So that's why the last condition, what, is very important. So now, since I said these are the three conditions we are going to be using, so now that's where we are going to now use it. Now, so now we said the first condition we are starting from is zero. For you to iterate, or for you to loop, you have to initialize to something. For example, now you have to assume something. You have to assume that, okay, you have to assume a variable that let the variable be is zero. If you say let the variable be a, then when you say a plus one, you already know that if our a is zero, the next one will be a plus one, that will be one. A plus another a plus one, that will be two plus one. Go and so on and so on like that. So we need to initialize this. That's how it's going to be. Let I, most especially I is the letter that suffer most when it comes to iteration. You say let I equals to zero. That means now we have executed the first one. Let I is equal to zero. And one thing that you should not make mistake is an expression. So you have to follow it by a semicolon. Please, you have to make you when I started learning, I usually use comma and to not work. It's an expression. That means this it will execute this expression like this first, then it will jump before it jumps to another one. So let's say let I is equal to zero. Then we said we are increasing by what? We are increasing it by one. So we can also say, okay, now there are three conditions. The last condition is what we call that the first one is the one that is going to run at the beginning of the block. The condition of executing this block is the next one. And the last one is the one that will be called every time. So the second one now is that which condition will this one stop? It's going to stop by 10. So let I, if our I is less than, or let me say our I is less than or equal to 10. I less than or equal to 10 means that 1 to 10. I less than equal to less than or equal to 10 means that, if either it is 9 or 10, 10 is the next one. So if you say 10 is less than or equal to 10, means that it is 10 or equal to 10. If it is 10 or equal to 10, means that it is 9 or 10. So if either it is 9 or 10, means that it is 10 or equal to 10. So if it is 10 or equal to 10, means that it is 9 or 10. So if it is 9 or 10, means that it is 10 or equal to 10.
You've
Saying
stopped
that when
talking.
can
You
you hear
went
me?
off again. You went off.
Wow. I think let me switch to MTN then. This sector is fucking me up. Let me switch to it in a minute, please. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Is there anyone that can hear me?
We can hear you. I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay, so sorry. Oh, I don't enter network one chance. And I had a class yesterday and it wasn't like this. That's why I decided to stick with. That's why I decided to stick with it. So now we are talking about the condition now. So we are saying that if I is equal to 0, now what we are now saying that if I is less than, if I is not up to 10 or is equal to 10, then it should what? It should continue. It should do I plus plus. That means if I is not, if I is not greater than.
Yesterday, okay. Okay.
Okay, I can hear them. Okay, I think that's fine. So now we are saying that if I is not up to is not greater than 10, it should what? It should do I plus plus. So now what we are doing here is this.
Okay, I should
Now
send
this
this
is how the
faster to
code.
the leaders group.
Please can you mute your mic if you are not talking? So now here, this is how the codes work now. We said let I is equal to 0, I is equal to
Awesome. Oh, I'm sorry about your phone, but I hope
uh I
this does not
I
affect
is, I is less than equal to 10, I plus
our
plus.
Deborah,
So
please
general
you
group
start
mute
from
your
by
mic.
by by
Deborah.
7. All right. I'll start testing tomorrow.
let's see
Thank
if I
you.
can mute everyone.
Um,
You can
Deborah,
mute
please
her
can you mute your mic?
manually.
Okay. Okay. So now,
I'm so
if
sorry,
you are doing
please. I
all right, that's fine. Now, if you do console.log I now, what is going to happen is this. It's going to start for here. We are saying let I is equal to 0, so it's going to start from 0. In as when if our I is less than 10, since our I is less than 10, this one will print. Then now do I plus plus. Then it will now move to the it will now run I plus plus. Then it will now do this how loops work. For
No,
example,
yeah, you
now
are for a while.
there are times where you can use there are different ways you can use it.
Hello, Isiaq.
You can also use the loop.
We could
Yes,
not hear you at
Yes,
all for
so
a while. It was breaking too.
I can hear you.
We could not hear you at all. Everything you said around about I plus plus, we didn't get it at all.
You can't hear me.
We could not hear you at a point. It was breaking. So what we got last was
Oh,
you talking about I less than or equal to 10. The whole thing you said about I plus plus, we couldn't really get it. That was where you broke off. So it's probably Angela again.
is it better now?
Yes, we can hear you
yes, I
now.
can hear.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
yes, we can hear you.
Hopefully, hopefully this will work fine. I have to change my position. Hopefully this will work fine. Now, what I was saying earlier was that how this loop works. Have we? Well, I think maybe we'll also discuss about this. We can also have recorded video so that apart from live classes, you can always watch it also. Though we have some references, so you can always watch it so that you get what I could, because we have almost spent an hour battling network and other things like that. So please, I'm sorry. So now what I was saying is that for the for the for loop, 3 conditions have to be there. It's not necessary you put the 3, but most especially what you are going to be seeing in most of the for loop, they are going to be having 3 conditions. So the first expression here is that let I is equal to 0. That means we are starting from here. Let I is equal to 0. Let I equals to what? Let I should be what? Less than or equal to 10. This is the condition in which the browser will see and is going to decide whether to stop or not. If I remove this now, if I remove this condition now, so it's telling me that it's expecting this, because that's how it have to be 3. But another way of doing it, if I put something like this and I put this, because that should be 3 conditions, it will work. Sorry, it will work. That should be 3 conditions. So now if I scroll down here, there are some places, you look at it here now, they are not putting, either you put this or you just leave it. Now they are not putting the first one, but they are putting this semicolon. So if this is drawn, it's going to affect the system, because my system will not know, this code will not know when to stop. So, and when to stop is when I is less than or equal to 10. Once it reaches 10, it is going to stop, because we are saying it's less than or equal to, that will take care of 10 also. Then we say I plus plus. So under this condition now, it will run 1 to 10. Now that we have is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, there are another thing I would like to do so you can even understand more how this is being used. I want to say our I is less than or equal to 3, I plus plus. Okay. Now, suppose I have something like this. Let me say let me use var. It's still the same thing. Var, let me say array equals, I have been taught an array. Let me say Janet, Joy, and Mercy. So this, we're having this array, const array. I don't it's supposed to be this up. Well, okay. Now we have const ARR equals Janet. But if I want to print this if I want to print this this array, I want to print each and every one. Like say my name is, I want to print my name is Janet, my name is Joy, my name is Mercy. I can start writing something like this. I can start writing console.log. My name is, then I can say plus AR at 0. Now so this work. If I save this, this one is also working. My name is now this one is still also working. My name is Daniel. My name is Messi. But I have to repeat myself. And don't forget that I said earlier, there is a policy, or I'll call it a phenomenon that we call dry in the CSS. It means dry means do not repeat yourself. Don't repeat yourself. Make sure when you are writing your code, you don't need to repeat yourself. You should try and abstract the logic that you are able to write just one code. Now, so I want to write this now, and I don't want to repeat myself. So I can come into my for loop now. If you look at it, my I here is what? For the first time, it's going to be 0. For the first one, it's going to be 1. The second one is going to be 1, 2. Now, there's something in an array. Array start from index of array starts with 0. The index of array starts with 0. It's not 1. So suppose you want to, the length of this array now, if you look at it now, is 1, 2, 3. If I console.log array.length here, it's going to give us 2. Give us 3 because the length is 3, but the index here is 2. The index here is 0, the index here is 1, and the index here is 2. So now, how do I print this one to my console without writing this? So you can still use this your for loop now. If you notice now, what is only changing here is 0, 1, and 2, and this one has been reading it for me. 0, 1, and 2. So if you go here, because there are 2, we are starting from 0, 1, and 2. So I don't need the 3. So now, because it's going to print 0, 1, and 2, which is going to be something like something we have here like this, I can now come here and say console.log my, so this has to be a string. My name is, then I can plus, this is how we're going to talk about this. My name is what? Then this array now, I can come here, array at I. So once this first loop for the first time, it's going to, our I here is going to be 1. It's going to be 0, which is the same thing as this. The second time, our I is going to be 1. It's going to be this. But when it now reach our I is equal to 2 or equal to 2, it's going to be 2. Yeah. So the loop will stop. So yeah, see, we still have the same thing. You can see now I don't need to write it like this. I only need to use a for loop to write this. I only need to use a for loop to write this. So do you have any questions regards this?
No.
I believe we don't have any. Okay, that's fine. So that's how for loop, that's how it works. For example now, another thing is this. Let me say another how do I call it? Okay, let's move on. So this is a basic example of how we are going to be using for loop. When you are going to be having your tasks, you are going to be having complex one that will at least show some kind of real life solutions. For example, if you are told to add let me say we have const, let me say array of number equals 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You are told to add something like this. Now you can always use for loop. There's a method called reduce method, but we are not yet there in array. You can yes, in array there's a method called we call it reduce method. So but we are not using it here. So now with this now, how do we add this number? There are different ways we can do it, because you can use a for loop, just like we said. You can come here and say for loop. Now from here now you can say const the sum. You can say let our sum, let it start from 0 now. This is just this is all called this solving an equation, an algorithm. Our sum initially, let's say, is 0 now. When we now said for let I is equal to 1, this equal to this now, that means now when we map this now, we are going to be adding each number to this. So if you are saying our sum will be equal to the sum plus this index is going to, that means it's the first one going to be 0 plus 2. So it's going to be like this: 0 plus 2 for the first one. That will be 2. So our sum is equal to 2. Then we're not saying our 2 is supposed to be, it's now going to be 2 plus 3. That will be 5. 5 plus 4, that will be 9. 9 plus 5, that will be, and so on and so on. That's how the for loop is going to work. So these are basic example on how we are going to be using for loop. You just have to know that it has 3. You have to put 3 conditions, and yeah, then you can always get the once you put the 3 conditions, the your variable that you declare here will always be used to get the list. So that's how for loops work. The other one we have here is for in. You can always go through this. I think this explains what we mean by the difference between var and let. Just like we have been told, let us a block scoping. So if I put as I is equal to 5 here, this is 5 here now. Now when we are now mapping, we are now saying I is 5 here. So now it is as this thing is working, it's changing the value of I. So at the end here, if you console log, I will be equal to 10 here. But if you are using let, this doesn't change. What is happening inside this code? Let it doesn't affect this I here. So this I here is still going to be 5, because this thing doesn't affect, because let has a block scoping. It doesn't know anything outside this block. So whatever happens here remain here. So you can always go through it. So that's that about for loop. Now also have for in loop. That's usually used when you are mapping in an object or in an array. It's used when you are mapping in an object. This is very simple. Instead of me saying for I is equal to 0, I is equal to 1, I plus plus here, I can come here and say, because now it's like saying this let's say a key here, key in an object. You know, as you define an object, this is an object, const x, let's say const x equals this is an object. Let me say a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2. For example, here, this is an object now. I guess you have been taught an object now. This is the key, and this is the value, or something like that. So now we are going to be using the key here now. For example, when we say key in objects, for key in objects means that for each one of them, each one of them. Now, if I delete this now, and I come here and I say for, let me say, you can call it anything here, anything now. This key, you can call it anything. I can say for name because name is a global stuff. Let me see what they are going to use. Let name is a global stuff. That's why it's giving me this issue. But once I assign it, it's not going to give me this issue now. If I say for name, let's name in array. You can use anything. I can say female. But you just need to declare, you're going to declare, but if you don't declare it here, it's going to throw an error. And it will let you know that, it will be able to know that this is an item. So it's going to be taking each one of them. So now this female now is now each, instead of writing a of 0, a of 1, if I say console.log female. Now this one now means that this is talking about this one female, this one female, and this one female. So that's what we mean when we are using for in. This is very easy. This most when you see a senior developer or when you see someone that has been writing code for so long, they don't use this for because it's the same thing. For this equals to this, and it's going to give you the same response. Oh, it's going to give you the index. Sorry, it's going to give us the index here. No, it's not. It's going to give us the index. Now we can now say console.log this. Instead of writing this, we can say console.log female. We are going to say array at female because that's what is giving us the index now. We are going to say array at this now. So it's now going to give us the same thing. That's how for in loops. That is how it works. Do you have any question?
I have a question. I want to clarify for the for in loop that you just taught now, the female you used after the let in the parameters, can we use anything? We can
Yes,
decide to use mail,
I'm using mail.
right?
I'm using mail now. I'm using mail now. Any name you can use. That would
Okay,
serve,
so
that will now
anything
serve as
can
the
go.
key. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Now, just look at the example explained. The for in loops iterate over a person object. Each iteration return a key. So now this mail now, this one means that this block of code means that it's going to run over this code. Instead of writing I is equal to 0, it will do it that one for us because you already know by using this, it knows the length. So it will now return what is going to return. This value that you're writing here that is going to that you declare is now going to be the key. It's going to be giving us the index. If you look at it here now, if I say console.log mail, our mail will now be the index 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 0, 1, 2. So we are going to be having 0, 1, 2. This is our index. And if I comment this out, it's going to give us same thing. The reason why this is bringing like this is that it's taking it one by one. This first one is taking this like this. It's taking this like this because this is the first loop. It's going to execute this for the first time, the second time, and the third time. So that is how it works. If I add another one to it, it will iterate it over in as much as possible. So it's more better to use for in loop, especially if you are working in an array or an object. This one is usually used for mapping loop using an object or array. The reason why it's easier is that there are different. You can always convert your array to an object or your object to an array. It is possible because normally, if you say a data type, an array is also an object. An array is also an object in data type. So so that's why they are using objects. So that's how it works. For in. So that's how it works for the for in method. You can see this is also an example here. Suppose if you want to add this number now, just like I was explaining there, if you want to add this number now, you just need to declare declare this just like this. Now if you want to add this, yeah, I still have the code. I wrote it somewhere. If you want to add const, let me say number array equals, if you're having this array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you want to add this. This how this method also work. Now, how do you add it? If you look at it now, you can, that means you can loop through this array. But once you are looping through, you want it to be adding. That means, so you are going to be having a sum here. Let's say let's sum. You can't use const. The reason why you can't use const is that const you can't reassign it again. So that, and you can't redeclare it, you can't reassign it. Now, once sum is equal to 0, sum cannot be 5 again. So it's not possible. That's why you are going to be using let. Now we are saying for male is equal to, we can say for number in the name of our array is number array here, like this. So we can now say, so we are having something like this. Now there's something we call there's a way you can write it. As a beginner, you can write something like this. Our sum equals to sum plus number. Our sum equals to what? Sum plus number. This is going to work. But once you go on, instead of writing sum equals to sum plus number, you can write sum equal plus or equals to like this and our number. But don't forget that this number is just an index, so this will not work. You have to look for the number here, and it's going to be something like this. What is going to show here is just the index of this, because there are 5. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But to get a number in array, we are going to be using by their index. To get this one here, forget this one here. It's going to be let me say number of array, number array. The index of 0 here is equal to this 1. The index of 1 here is equal to this 2. The index of this 2 here is equal to this 3. So now it's going to be, now we are going to sum it like this, or you are going to use sum equals to this number array and number. So it's still the same thing here. Now, because it's a let, we are using a let scope, it's going to be declaring this. So once it's adding this sum is going to be changing. For the first time, it's going to add sum equals to 0 plus 1. It's going to be 1. So the first time, if you say console.log sum here, let's see what we are going to be having. You can see now we are going to be having 15. We are going to be having 15 because what is going to happen is that for the first time it's going to run 0 plus 1. That's 1. Sorry. The second one is going to run 1 plus 2. That is equal to 3. Then the next one is going to run 3 plus 3. That's equal to 6. So this is how this is how it works. Still, you will now add 6 plus 4, 10, and 10 plus 5, 15. So this is how you can do the sum, and you can also use this for let I is equal to 0. Instead of this is how it's going to be. Now to write for this same thing, if you want to write for loop, you can just come here for, let me say, let I is equal to 0 here, like this. Now our I is equal to now you have to move to how do we get the length now? The last number here, don't forget that I said the length of this array now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the length of this array, right? But now the way JavaScript works, the way array works, the first number here, to get the first number here, is going to be array at index of 0. So now if you are coming here, we are going to say number array dot length. We want to get the length. And if you are going to get the length here, once we get the length here is 5. But we know that JavaScript starts from 0. But our counting is from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have to do -1. that's when it's going to stop at. So it's not going to cut as like this: index of 0, index of 1, index of 2, index of 3, index of 4. So that's why it's going to stop. But I didn't put this here. There's no last. The last number is not there. And in array, if there's no last number, we are going to be having undefined like this. So let's see the two, how it works now. So now we are going to say length minus 1. That means that's why it's going to stop at index of 4. Then we are going to say I plus plus. Then we can write what we want to write here. So I can come here and say this. And if I comment this out now, number is not defined. Okay, yeah, that's true, because it's going to be I here. We don't have a number here. It's going to be I here. That's what we are using here. This is what we are using. This I is what we are using here. So why do we don't have the sum? For I is equal to 0. I is equal, sorry, okay. Yeah, okay. Our number of array at I. Why it should work? Console.log sum. Let's see what's wrong. If I do console.log I here, are you sure this thing is still working? I'm afraid. Okay, let me just say console.log 1 if it's working. Okay, now this is a way of debugging it. My console is no longer working. Even when I write console.log 1, 2, this thing is not refreshing because my VS Code stopped working. So my live server stopped working. So you can see now nothing is working here. If I say console.log 111, it's not working. So something is wrong. So what I'm going to do now is I'll go back to my index.html. Then let me restart the server again. Open with live server now. Are we together?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why my system is hanging somehow, which is unusual. I'm expecting I can still open. So now, this is supposed to work. If I do console.log sum here, it's supposed to work. So this one is still the same thing as this. You can see now, one is neater, the other one is not. So it's more better you use the number in if you are talking about an array. If you are talking about an array, and it's only an array that you like to map. So that's just how it works. I don't know why my system is hanging. Maybe I should maximize this. Speak on you, Sha. No, I've not put it up since morning. Maybe that's why. Can't believe my system is hanging. So, but I don't know. We can just continue. If we continue, where do we see what we are working? So now this is what we have here. And this passes. We have a lot of things to talk about. I can't even this is serious.
Okay, why don't you change the browser you're using?
Okay, okay. Okay. Because this is my default browser, it cannot still work. I need to copy this. I don't 127. I'm going to copy this URL. 0. Is it 5,000? Okay, that means we are moving to /html. We are moving to /html. What do we have?
Can anybody hear him, please?
No.
No, I can't hear from him.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes. Can.
Well, I have to use another browser. So let me just let me copy the link. Since I'm having something unusual, this is the first time my system will be hanging like this.
You're not seeing your screen.
Yes, I'm trying to copy what I will be needing.
Okay.
Okay, I plan the lesson. When next I'm having a class, I'll make sure I've turned it off and on so that at least I can be sure everything is full. So I'll be sharing my slides. Okay, now can you see my screen now? Okay, it's coming up. So save us our time. I will run this on local. I think if I run it on as my okay. Sorry, trying to see if I can make this my default browser. Okay, I'm trying to make it my default browser. Okay, yeah, this is fine. So now if I run this now and I open with live server. Did I write any infinity code? Because maybe that's one reason why my code is. I didn't write any infinity code now. Yes, I didn't write any infinity code. Oh, no wonder. See, my length. Eh, yes, this will keep running. I think this is what is affecting my system. This code will keep running. This one will keep running because this is not the condition. It must be. I think this is what is killing my. What I've written here is supposed to be I is less than or equal to. Yeah, I think. Because my code is still not, my browser is not working fine, which is unusual. Let me comment this out. Okay, I think that's what stopped my it is that code that hang down my browser. So I'll need to reshut it down. So make sure you're not writing a code that will shut down your system. So now, sorry. Now I'm having for I is let I is equal to 0, I is less than number dot length minus 1 or equal to I plus plus. So if I comment this out now and save, you can see now we are having, it's now making the sum. Is 0 plus 1. 0 plus 1, 2. Okay, now this is just this. So now it's still the same thing. Now we are having 15 now. Number array dot length minus 1. So it will keep repeating it. It will keep repeating it, minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, minus 1. Then maybe it has reached minus 1 million. So that's why it keep. So that's what one disadvantage is. If you didn't write it, your code can get out of your control. That's what we mean by Stack Overflow. It can flow above the stack and it can shut down your system if it's not taken. If this code keep running, it will, at the end of the day, shut down my system. So please, that's when they say code is a bit difficult. This is what they mean. So now this is how we use for in loop. I think we can move faster about it. Do you have any question about this? So I will know that is clear.
We can't see your screen. I think we stop sharing.
I didn't stop sharing. Okay, stop sharing.
Okay, so please I want to ask, is for loop only for numbers?
For numbers as well.
You say?
For numbers as well, anything you can iterate, For example, now let me give you. Let's use a string now. Now suppose I want to. You can all see my screen, right?
Sir, your screen is low. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was the only one.
Not clear.
The screen is low.
Okay.
That's it.
See, it's not clear.
Okay, I'm trying to. Is it better now?
I can still manage to see the VS Code, but it's the one on the browser that is the issue. Maybe because of the white background. If you can do something about that.
Okay. Can you see my console?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Now someone has a question that is it for, you can use it for anything you need to iterate over, like something that you need to do, you need to iterate over it. For example, now I want to say my name, let my name was Abdullah. For example, I want to print each letter inside the console. I don't need to this is a string. Now if you look, before we start, if I say type of console.log, our type of my name, you can see now type of my name is string here. Type of my name here is string. So now suppose I want to, you can convert this one to array, an array if you need to iterate over it. If you need to iterate over it. If you need to iterate over it, you can convert it to an array. But there is a method that you can use to convert a string to an array. If I said my name, if I say my name dot split, one way of converting a string to an array is by using array dot split method to convert it to convert to an array. Let me say let v equals this. Let me okay. Now if I say console.log v now, if I check, you can see now it has converted this one to an
I
array.
can hardly see your screen. It's very difficult for me. Like I can't see your screen at all.
It's
It's
white,
really
but
blurry.
No, it's fluctuating. Sometimes it will be clear, other times it will go blurry again.
Yeah.
Wow. Let me see. Okay, I need to shut down my this. Okay, I'm trying to reopen it on my VS Code. Sorry, on my Brave. I prefer to use Brave. I don't know why, but okay. I'm trying to close some window. Okay, why this one is not working? Maybe I will need to shut down my system about this. I don't know if I maximize it, maybe you can see it. You can't see my my console. What if I zoom it like this?
We can see everything, but it's blurry.
But it's just
It's not
blurry.
clear.
That's what it is.
Could it be network?
Probably.
This is
Yes,
not
it's
the
network
this,
actually. It's network.
I think it's network.
okay. Well, we just have to keep. I'll see what I can do. Maybe we'll still have. If this doesn't work very well, I'll reference some videos that you can watch as regards this. Because it has to be my network. I used this same network yesterday. Just quite unfortunate. Now you can see it now. If I resave this one now, if I resave this, I'm having. You can see now this my name has been split has been converted to an array. A B C A B D U L A. It has converted to an array. So now I can now come here now and say that for I can use that for loop now. If I want to write, maybe they said that for each letter in my name, if you had 1, 2, 3 to it, that means A should be it should give you A1 to A1 2 3, B1 2 3, D1 2 3. So then you can use now, because now the first thing is that this my name is a string before. The first thing I did was to convert it to an array. So by that now I can use a for loop like this. So you can use for let item in V. Let item in V. That one will give us it now give us the key. I can now say console.log this console.log this is, then I can this is what we call I think you have been taught concatenation, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So now I'm concatenating this. Now because I'm having the item in the array, now I can now say that V at I plus 1, 2, 3. That's what we have. We're having this is V1, 2, 3. What happened? Oh, I said V at 1, not V at. To be V at item. Why am I making mistake? V at item like this. I can expand this. V at 1 is B. Yes, that's why we're having this now. You can see now, this is A1, 2, 3, B1, 2, 3, D1, 2, 3, U1, 3. So what I'm doing here is now, that's why the fact that my name is a string, I converted it to an array. Then I can loop over it. So if you are to loop over anything, it has to be an array or an object. It has to be an array or an object. Is that clear?
Okay,
Yes,
so you're
sir.
saying, sorry, please. So you're saying this dot split method return string to array.
Yes, to convert a string to an array. For example, now now this is not just a data structure, or the data, how do you call it? DSA class. If they say now, like now, if you look at it in your most of you now, Abby, in your website, you can see that when you maybe you write your name in capital, a small letter, then the first letter will always be capital letter. What do they do? That means now let's say that write a function. Now we are moving to a function gradually. Write a function that that convert the first letter of the string. You should convert it to a what? To a capital letter. That means anything you have written now, if I've written this Abdullah now in capital letter, it should return something like this. It should return something like this. It should return something like this. This is how you are going to do it is this. The best way is that you have to convert this to an array. You have to convert this to an array because this is a string. There's no way. If I say if I say like for example, if I say const a is equal to my name, I can't use like if let's see what will happen if I say const.a at 0. Because it's not an array, we will not be able to get const.a at 0. Because what we need is just the first letter. Let's see what we have here. It is A. We are having this. What actually happened is that it's converting this to an it's getting the index of this. But the best way if you are having it is to just say you can convert this to an array just like this. Then you can now say for example, now I can say for now, assuming this is what I want to do, I want to anything here. I can say now should now return my item at the first one. I can now say my v at the first item. That's the first number to uppercase here. So it's not going to convert that one to uppercase. And then I will now say plus. This is just example. And I can now say v. How do I call it? So there is another form. I want to remember this thing. There's another method we are going to be using. After now we have turned the first letter to be splice. Sorry. Okay, slice. Yeah, I want to use slice. I will explain what we mean by slice now. Plus, if you now slice v, I will explain this in a moment. Let me write it. V dot slice. If you slice this, and if you start at 1. Now let's this. We cannot return because it's no. You can say console.log. Now, if I console.log this now, you can see now everything here. The first letter is taken as capital letter, but that's not what I want to do. Let's just write a function. As you have been taught, this is how to write a function. I'm going to write the same function, uppercase. Let's call it uppercase here. It's going to take a value here. Sorry. This is not this how there are different ways we can declare a function, but I'm using this function syntax. Now this is what I want us to do here. You should just do this. Now I'm telling him to return. So just return this. You should return value of at 0. That's first thing we are going to do. Value at 0 plus to change to uppercase. Then from 1, you should convert it. Now, if I say console.log, now I want to call this function. I believe you have been taught how to call a function. I'm invoking this function. That's just another way. If I'm using small letter like this, that's what we have. Now it's giving me the first letter here as this, but this is not how to do it. Normally, this is how we are going to do it. We can just say this value here, convert it to an array. Let's just say let's array equals value dot split. You should split at, and if there is no space, you split at where there is no space. Now I'm not saying where there is no space, you split it. Now I can now say array at index of the 0 to uppercase dot array at, it should continue at 1. Now instead of this, now I can say let this one to be this. I'm going to explain. Let's y equals to this. Now I can now say it should now return y dot join at this. Y dot join is not it's not a function. Okay, so now what is y? Consider log y. So this is what we have. Something is happening. 0 at 0 to 1 plus okay, this is actually not what I want it to be. But what I want to explain here is this: you can always convert a string to an array by using split. If I say console log array here, it's going to give me it has converted every one of them to it has converted each one of them to an array. So that's how it works actually. So that's how functions work. I hope that is clear. So the other one we have for of let's keep using W3 school. So if you have this now, we have talked about for in. Now we want to talk about for of it's not the same thing. Here now. Let me maximize this so I can see. So we have this. Okay, for of the for in and for of I explain in the next chapter. Where's not the chapter? Okay, now for of. Now this it's just almost the same thing. Now it's just this will give you. Well, I think this one. Now this one is not giving you the index. Now let's see how it works. For every iteration, the value of the next is assigned to the variable. Variable can be declared. Now this is what this one looks like. Let's try it here in our VS Code. I'll put this here. Now instead of using for the let in, let's now use of this. I'll comment this out so that it will be easier. Now let's say console.log item. Now let's what we have. Oh, I just think it's now the difference between them is this. Now the first the for in return the index. It returns the index of that array. For this one, it returns the item. This of will now return the item now. So now let's go back to this our array of we know we are using an index of something like this. But now if you come here and use this now, and we are using it here, instead of it to return index of 1, 2, 3. Now it's now returning each name. It's not returning each name instead of returning the index. So this is the difference now. If I'm using this now, and I'm using in, the in will return. If you look at the in return the index, while the of return the item itself. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
So the in will return the index of that item. So if you are looking for the index of the item, the in will return it. But why the of will return the item itself. So it's more easier to use of. For example, now if you have an array, that you've already that is named like array of, let me say the name of we have array of let's say name of the state in Nigeria now. You can just that would be for let's states in states. That would be states in states.
Sorry,
Then
please.
console.log.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I think it's possible for you to increase the font of your VS Code with Control and plus button.
I've
Because it's kind of
also increased it, but it's just too big on my. If I minimize, it's just too big. That's why I've maximized it before. Is it better now?
okay. Yes, it's better.
The issue is that I'm splitting my screen. If I do something
Have you muted?
like this, you should be able to see it clearer. This one is even too so big.
Your own teacher is teaching. You are teaching teacher.
So we now stand them
Screen is very bad.
4 in and 4 off. We now understand. So I think that should not take us time. We can move to another one. How am I doing this? I think I should use school. So now yeah. So the next thing we are going to talk about is the why do why. So we have talked about 4 in, 4 off. Then let's talk about why. Why, just like usually say, why you are there. Please help me to please make sure the student the children are not making noise. That means that why. Please can you mute your mic if they are not asking questions. So why means that when a certain condition is true, you should do a certain stuff. The while loops through a block of code. Why a certain condition is what is true. Now, if I want my system to have another issue, if I say why true, if anything I write here to give my system an issue. So now because now the condition here is that I want to put let's say while let me say I, or let's say I is less than 30. While I is less than 30, then we can now say console.log. So we are putting the condition here, console.log I. I is not defined. I'm also wondering. So let I is this. Oh, okay, sorry. We have to define I here. Let's say let's I is equal to 4. So why I is less than I'm saying 1. I want to say I. How am I having here? It's repeating this several times. Why I is 4. Sorry, let me see this. Oh, my system has hung again now. I have to stop this execution. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I think I've executed something that will make my system to crash again. Okay, now this is what we have here. Now, if you look at it, why I is less than 10, what do you want it to do? It should what? It should do I plus plus. Okay. Now, why I is less than 10. So here now, I can say why I is less than 10. If you can see, if you forget to increase the variable, okay, now see what they have said here. If you forget to increase the variable using the condition, the loop will never end, and this will crash your browser. So I think that was what I didn't do. Now, where's my while loop? I can just console.log I, then I will say I plus plus here. So let me try. Let's go to try this. Okay, why? Can you see my screen? Still don't know why.
Yes, it's a lot clearer now.
I mean, I can't operate it. I is clear. My system is very, very hot, super hot, and this is very unusual. So maybe that's what is contributing to the performance. I can't switch.
Anyone hear him?
You're
I
not
think
breaking
it's
up.
just
The class ended. It just dropped off. Probably it's network or something because I can't hear.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
So sorry that this is happening. I think this will not happen next time. I'll have to. Maybe my system is very hot and the brightness is. I think I can reduce the brightness now. It's dark.
Sorry about that. You're trying. God bless you.
So thank you too. So now we're having we're having the do while loop, the while loop. Now as I was saying, this is just on rare cases you are going to use this our while loop. Now our while loop work under the same condition, that three same condition. Now we are saying that for the first time we're saying if I is equal to 0, I is less than something, then we are going to do it. The same thing is going to happen here. We are saying that let our I, that means you start from what? Start from 4. Then we're now saying that why our I is less than 30. That means if the number is not up to 30, if I put equals to here, it's still going to bring the 30 now. I'm not saying it's what? It should console log this I. After it should console log this, then you should what? Add this condition. Now what W3 is now telling us that if you didn't put this condition now, if you didn't put this I plus, it is going to crash your system. In the sense that it's not going to increase, because now what it's supposed to do is that it's supposed to keep moving till it's reached 30, but it's still going to keep executing that. It's going to be printing 4 because that condition is still existing. So when you are using anything loop, you have to be cautious about it. That's what happened to my system. I didn't put this I plus, and that's why it run my system. So this condition is just the number 3 condition for if you are using for loop. Why this one here is the number, I can write it here actually. This one is number 2 if you are using the, okay, if I'm going to write that this will be this and this will be this, like this. No, if I'm writing comment, I want to write okay. Now this is number 2. Why this will be the first number 1 condition that we're talking about. So that's how it works. This one is also taking the 3 condition. So I think we should let us try and finish this so that we can what do I call it? I think this is it here. So now we are in the for in loop. We are talking about for in. Now let's talk about do why. I think that will be the last one. It's just this, instead of this do why is just like it's just what we want it to do here. Now if you are converting this here, if you are converting this our first statement here, it's like this. Now we want to say you should do something, do, then we are going to have why here. What's the condition now? We want it to what? You should do what? You should do I plus plus. You should what? Want you to add this I from here. Once we have declared this let here, I want you to add it. Do I plus plus. That means it's going to do I plus 1, I plus 2. If you didn't put this, there will be another wahala because it will keep adding to the system crash. So now we have to say while I is less than 30. While I is less than 30. We want to tell him to what? I plus plus. Then we can do console.log I. So this is the same thing as this. If I go back to my screen here, so if I comment 1 out, so it's just going to the last one. What's happening? At 2, what really happened? Okay, there is something here. I have to do this, take this out. Yeah, this one is affecting this. So now you can see now, you see the same thing. So this y and do y, they are now the same thing. So this is why how you use a y statement and how you use a do y. So don't be confused. You can just, if you don't get it, just try and go over it again. It's the same process. The only thing is that just know, and you have to know for in, for off, and the for in, for off, and the normal for loop. Those are the basic ones you are going to be using in your day-to-day activity. That's what, because this one is affecting it, so it's not. We're having let here. We're having let. That's why it has to keep decline. So that's how we have this, and it is this one that is working. It's this console log. So if I console log this also to still work, but it's going to print this. Why it's not going to print that one? Because our high is already 32. So that will bring us to the end of where's the slide? That will bring us to the end of loops. Okay, with the few minutes we have, we can talk about ternary operation. Now, I think most of the code we are going to be writing will have will make use of if and else statement. Like, if something is true, you should execute something. So now, I will I'll create another file called index. Let's call it we can call it ternary.js. We think we can finish ternary operation today. Then we can go to function and others tomorrow. Ternary.js. I have to link it here. I can come here where I have my CSS, where I have my HTML here. Let me expand it for now. I can come here. This is my script here. I can also write ternary.js. So I've linked this now. I can use it now. How do you use ternary? Now we have, as we have always said, there's always conditional statements. If something is true, you should do this, and if it's false, you should do other. For example, now if it's raining, you can if say if it is raining, don't go out. S, and if it's not raining, go out. This is just this is just how we call it. If raining, this is how we are going to write it now. What I just said now, you can say let raining. So if this, let's assume it's raining. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now,
Yeah.
now let's assume our raining is true. That means if it's raining, we're not saying if raining. If it is raining like this, let's say console.log it's raining. That means else. That means if it's not raining, you just do console.log is not raining. This is a ternary, or this is a if else condition, if else statement. Now, if I don't know, if I go back to my browser like this, okay, let me just do it like this. If I go back to my browser like this, now you can see it's telling us that what is raining. It's telling us that it is raining, and that's one because this one is true. If I close this and I said if I say false here, you can see now it's telling you that what is not raining. So now, how do we now use ternary operation operator? How we use ternary operator is we have expression. You have the expression if it is equal to true and equal to false. Now, if I want to write this now in ternary operation, ternary operator. Now, I will say that if raining. Now, this one is that if you are a beginner will write something like this. If our raining is true, that means if our raining is equal to true, this is how we are going to do it. If it's equal to true, this is for true. If this operation is true, this is how we use for true. This is the true symbol. If you are using ternary operator, this is very, very important. You have to understand. If it's true, we say we should write what? Console. We say we should do console.log. Console.log it's raining. I don't understand. I'm supposed to write. There's one place like I know I have word wrap. I'm not happy that I can't wrap this thing. Because I know it's something I usually say. I just don't take cognizance of it. Oh my God. I know it's something I usually see. Aha. Okay, I will memorize it now. You should write, if it's raining, you should write console log if it's raining. I mean, you have to put, if you didn't put, you have to put the other condition there. S, you know, now, if it's S, this our S now is this double column. It's not raining. We are going to say console.log. It is not raining. Now, this is how we are going to be writing a ternary operation. If I comment this out and I save this now, you can see that it's telling us that what? It is not raining. If I change this one now to true, you can see now it is raining. Is there any aspect that is not clear?
Sorry, are you saying that the question mark stands for if and the double column stands for else?
Yes, the question mark, sorry, it doesn't stand for if. The question mark stands for if the condition you put here, if it is true, it is this one that is what's inside this place is the one that is going to work. It's like, let me write it like this. If it is true, this one will work. If it's false, this one will work. Now, can you see my screen now? If this condition here, it is true, it will run this one after the question mark. But if it is not true, if it is false, this one will run. Do you understand? If I delete this now, it's still going to see the same thing. This thing only means that what? We are saying that you can see that our raining here is false. Now, because this one is not true, this statement is not true. This one is not true because our raining here is false. Console.log is raining will not work. It's not going to be the one that will run. It is this other one that is going to run. That means if this one is not true, if this one is not true, this one should work. So it's going to what in essence what it's going to do is that it will do something we call, it will convert it to a ternary what we call it, a true or false statement. It will now, if our raining, it convert this one to true. If this one is true, this one will work. Else this one will not work. Is that clear? Actually, everything inside there, everything inside if and else statement, it will convert it to true or false. This one, if I'm using this if here now, it will change this one out. Let me say, for example, if I say if rain is equal to this 3 now, Abi, if I say if rain equals to 3, what it's going to do is that it will convert this thing to true or false statement. It's equal to 3. If it's equal to 3, it's raining because this it is true here. So this one is going to work. This one is going to work. Because it is true, this statement is going to work. But for example, if I put this one to be 30 here, this one is not going to run again because it's not true. It's not raining. Is that clear?
Thank you.
Do you have any other question? Right. Let me see. Ternary operator in JavaScript. Let's see what we have. We have conditional ternary. Let's use W3 screen. So that's how it works. You can see now, these are just how, that's how most of the things in our work, we are going to be using ternary operator. For example, now, if you are logging, it should show dashboard. That means if you log in, you should show the dashboard. Then if you are not logged in, that means you are not logged in, it should take you to register page. That's what we are going to use a ternary operator to. So it is something, it's something that you keep using every now and then. And you can use multiple things. Okay, I think that's what I want to explain. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm seeing something else. Okay, thank you. Now we can use multiple because I'm writing something here. I said part of the topic is that nested ternary operator. Now let's do the nesting now. Now let me do. I said let's say now I want to say if how do I say it? If it's equal to 1. Okay now let me say we say it's 30, but let's just use 1. For example, now let's say if our raining, I want to do nested one. If our raining equals to 1, right? If this is true, it should what? It should say console.log 1. Abi, now we want to say else. If our raining equals to 2, right? It should also do what? Console.log 2. Don't mind my this just don't mind my auto suggestion. You can see now I'm putting another one, right? But if what I'm saying that if brain is equal to 1, you should do consider log s. If brain is equal to 2, you should do consider log s. Another s statement again. If array equals to 30, array equals to 30, you should do what? Consider log 30. Consider log 30 like this. Then if I want to end it, s, then I want to end it like this. I don't want to put another one. Console.log, I don't know. Console.log, I don't know. Now this is this another if state. This is what we call nested ternary operation. Now, if I want to write it an if statement, it's going to be like this. If I'm really equals to 1 is equal to 1 like this, you should do console.log 1. Then we can say s if. Okay, let me just write this in the normal conventional way. It should be like this. Let me save this so you can say s if. You keep doing s if rainy equals to 2. Rainy equals to 2. You should do what? Console.log 2. So keep writing. If it is 3, you keep writing. Then you're not going to write s. The last one, this s. Now you're not going to be the last statement. Going to be s. S. You will not say console.log. Console.log. I don't know. This one and this one that if you look at this one looks neater. So this is how it works for nested. It's just a matter of we are saying if rainy is equal to 1, you do console.log 1. S if rainy is equal to 2. Let me use the normal. If it's equal to 2, if it's equal to 3. Now let's see how let's see what we have when it runs. Now, because here, if you say if it is 1, because here it is 1 here. Let's say if it is 2, let's change it to 2. So it is 2, let's say to 3,000. You can see it, I don't know. It's telling you that what? I don't know, because we are saying that if it is only 1, if it is 1, you should do console.log 1. If it is 2, you should put 2. If it's 30, you should put 30. But if anything apart from those 3, you should put I don't know. So if I put 30 here, it will work as it was expected. What am I doing? If I put 30 here, to work as it's expected, it is 30. So that's all about ternary operator. I hope that is clear. Do you have any question as regards that?
No, sir.
No. Okay. So I believe now 1 or 2 things have been cleared. We'll be stopping here. Our time is almost exhausted, and I think we have tried. You have gone a long way. If my network is better, I think maybe we could have touched about anonymous function. You have been taught how to write a name function. Let me just make mention about it. Then tomorrow we'll talk about hosting and temporary dead zone. So I want us to finish this. This aspect is very, very important. This DOM manipulation is very important, and your async and await when you are doing data fetching also. It's also an important topic. So I would like us to talk about it. But let me just let's talk about function. We know how to come function. Let's say a function is the first class because it can be passed as a variable. It can be passed in as a callback. A function can do anything. That's why in React we are using function. Also, everything in React is writing component, and that component is also a function. So now we are saying function. For example, this is how we have been taught how to write a function by name. Then we said, let me say name here. This is a parameter. I hope we all know this is a parameter, and we say console log my name. Console.log name. Sorry. Now, if I call this one now, I do console.log my name, and I put John here. We go back to our browser. My name has already been declared. Yeah, maybe somewhere I made a mistake. Let me say let me just remove one. I've declared it at the top. No, you can see. Yeah, the reason why. Okay, the reason why it's not. The reason why it's bringing this is bringing John, but it's bringing undefined. When you are writing a function, you must return something. If I put this return now, if I just put this return keyword, no, supposed to at 31. Why? Okay, if I do this is supposed not to bring okay, because I'm console logging. Yeah. Now if I do this, yeah. Now in function, if you write a function, it's very important. It has to return something. I guess you have been taught. Hence you are writing, it has to return it. If it's not returned, it's going to return undefined. It's going to return undefined. If you didn't put it, it's going to return an undefined. So it has to return something. If I put console log here, it will work, but it's not returning anything. I put console log like this. It's going to write console log that John, but because the function is not returning anything, it's going to give us an undefined. So now this is a function. This is a name function. This is an example of a name function. But we have an anonymous function. For example, now analyze which I say const s equals to. Now I write this function now. It's taking parameter. So brand up me by 710. It's taking this parameter here like this. Now, if you look at this, I'm assigning this function to this, giving it y. Now, let me just. I don't. I return this like this. So now I'm not having any undefined. Now we are calling them. We are calling by a name by this name before, yeah. But because now we have assigned a first class in element also in JavaScript. I'm going to say y is function. If I type it here, y is function. Y is function class citizen in JavaScript. Why a function a first class citizen in JavaScript? Try and read about it. Why function is a first class is first class in JavaScript. So now I've assigned it to a value. Now if I now say console.log, let me copy this now. Developers are always lazy. It is true. You don't want to, you just wish to automate everything. Now this my X here now, not a cap lock. If I now put 5,6 here, you can see now it's giving us 11. So now because now this function I've written here is an anonymous function. It's not a name function. There's no name here, but I've assigned it to a variable. So that is how it works for anonymous function. I want us to, and we also have an arrow function. Arrow function is the latest one that we're having now. It's called EX6. It's happening in EX6. In the EX6 what we are using now is EX6 in JavaScript. What we mean by arrow function? It's always a name function const. Let me say our arrow function. This is the syntax for writing arrow function, because this one is going to be now. I'll be giving you an assignment as against tomorrow, which I'll be calling someone. I'll call in arrow function. Everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but you're breaking.
Yeah.
Please, man, it's cloudy here. So I said the tomorrow assignment is that what's the difference between an arrow function and a normal function. The difference between arrow function and normal function. Now, this is the syntax for writing an arrow function. Now, you can pass a parameter here. Let's say, just like before, x and y. So you can just come here and just return. So, x and y, I can just say x minus y. Yeah, this is what we call arrow function. This is how we write arrow function. So if you're writing function now, you should always be using arrow function. So against tomorrow, please try and know the difference between arrow function and normal function. We have normal function. What's the difference between them? If I run this now, if I do console log this and I come here and I put arrow function here, this x here, and I change it to arrow function. Now, if I you can see now I'm having -1, which is also working. So we have name function, we have anonymous function, we have arrow function. Are there? So I think those are we'll be rounding up here. So tomorrow we'll be talking about hosting, how it affects our function, and what we mean by temporary dead zone. Well, have you been taught temporary dead zone?
No.
Have you? No.
No.
Okay, yeah, it's related to the difference between var length and const. So, but I also because it's very, very important. What we mean by temporary dead zone? I've been asked this question severally in like 2 or 3 interviews. Yes, it's a very, very common question. And another common question is what's the between var length and const? I believe in every interview, especially for beginner, they always ask you what's the difference between var length and const. So you have to know it often. Between var length and const, and you also be able to know the difference between different type of function. So I'll be rounding up. I have 2 minutes left. I'll be rounding up by searching for type of function so that we can see what we can talk about. Type of functions. So and you should also try and read more about it. We're not going to be talking a lot everything in class. Type of function in AS. So different type of function you can use this W3 screw. So you can see this is a function, this is a syntax here. It has parameter. We have invocation, y function. Yeah, function can be used as a variable. Yes, we have this. Oh, I think this is not what I want exactly. Let's just go to this medium article here. What a type of function? We also have immediately invoke function. Yes, I think let me write. I have a minute. I can talk about immediately invoke function. No, this is another project. Our immediately invoke function is like is this. If I call this function now, I think yeah, this is what called immediately invoke function. If I'm not mistaken, been a while. If I do alert alert 1 2 3, this is not correct. I can also see it. Okay, immediately invoke function. We call it IIFE. Immediately invoke function. That's what we call it in JavaScript. Okay. Okay, I think another sentence before I look at it, I can just write a function here. Yeah, function here. And these are how our function works. So I don't need this. Yeah, this will work. This one by this one now, if I open my browser now, without running it, it will immediately I save it, it will run. Let me press OK again. Now if I save it again now, it runs immediately. And I'm not calling it. So I can please try and also another assignment, try and read about immediately invoke function. So before I talk about tomorrow, we have IIFE. It's called immediately invoke function. Immediately you run it like this, it's going to run. For example, now, if I put this this is a function here now. If I copy this now and I'm coming here like this, so I pasted something else. This is my function here. If I copy this now and I'm coming here and I paste it like this, now this one will run, it will run immediately. Assuming now, because I've not passed anything, there's no x and y. Let me say 3. Okay, that's to be x and y. Let's say 3, and okay, that will not work because we're not going to be passing anything. But let's say we are passing, or it's still going to be work. Let's say that it won't work. Let's just say 2 and 3. 2 plus 3. I press OK here. Okay, because the reason why we are not seeing is because it's not inside my console. Let me just put inside console.log 2 plus 3. And there's another way I can write it. I can also write coming here, I can write something like this. I can also put x here and y here. But I can initialize it here that let x equals to 3, let x equals to 4, and y equals to 10. If I cancel this and I save, and why is this thing coming in? And I save in my browser like this. You see, immediately, there's no way I'm this immediately I run this, it works. It's bringing in 14. So I think that's the last type of function that we'll have. Immediately invoke function. It's very used in React. We have a lot of application of it in React. So you can also read more about functions, the type of function we have. If you have any question, then we can talk about it tomorrow. Do you have any question? We're already behind the schedule.
No, sir, but I have like a suggestion.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know if I came across this extension that can run our JavaScript output on VS
Huh?
Code. I don't know if you. I came across this extension that can run our JavaScript output on VS Code instead of going to the browser console.
Okay. I would like you to share with me. Can you just message me on Slack? Someone is reminding me
Okay.
that it's someone is telling me that it's part
Okay,
7,
sir.
it's part 7 already. So please let's obey on the time, and let's round it up. Please try and message me on Slack. I believe definitely there have to be an extension about it. Nothing is impossible. It's just a matter of displaying your console. Just like we can write it instead of writing console.log, we can also print it in our screen or use alert. So it's possible. So please try and share with me. I've not used it before, so I can have it also. So in absence of any other question. Okay, thank you, Bamidele. In absence of any other question, so let's call it a day. We'll see you tomorrow by 5 o'clock. All right, have a
Thank you
nice
very
day.
much, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.